I'm thrilled to share with you 6 life-changing habits that made a remarkable difference in just 1 week. Yes, you read that right. 1 week. It may sound almost too good to be true, but these aren't your usual overused tips. These are real, actionable practices that I personally integrated into my daily routine. Through the challenges, breakthroughs, and successes, transformation I experienced was truly extraordinary. I'm eager to pass these on to you because they've profoundly impacted my life, and I'm confident they can do the same for you. Whether you're aiming to boost your productivity, enhance your mental well-being, or simply make a positive shift in your daily life, these habits are here to help. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's dive in. You'll want to stick around until the end, because these habits aren't just theoretical. They're practical steps you can start using today. I'll also share some personal stories and insights from my journey, giving you a genuine look at how these habits worked for me. Let's get started. Habit 1: waking up early. The first habit that brought incredible change to my life was waking up early. I was never a morning person. I loved my bed, and the snooze button was my best friend. My mornings were always rushed, and I felt like I was constantly starting my day on the wrong foot. But when I decided to give early rising a try, it turned out to be a game changer. I started by setting my alarm for 5 a.m. First few days were challenging. I dragged myself out of bed, felt groggy, and questioned whether it was worth it. But I persevered, and by the 3rd day, something amazing happened. I began to appreciate the tranquility of the early morning hours. There was something almost magical about being awake before the world. Everything was calm and serene. With these extra hours in the morning, I found time for activities I'd never managed to fit in before. I started my day with light exercise. Nothing intense, just some stretching or a short jog around the neighborhood. This not only woke me up, but also energized me for the day ahead. I also spent a few moments meditating and setting my intentions for the day. These brief moments of mindfulness had a profound impact on my overall mindset and productivity. Another unexpected benefit was that I no longer felt rushed. I had ample time to enjoy a healthy breakfast, savor my coffee, and plan my day. This unhurried start set a positive tone for the entire day. I felt more organized, less stressed, and had a greater sense of control over my time. One unforgettable moment was watching the sunrise from my balcony. It was a simple yet profoundly beautiful experience as the sky transformed and the world slowly came to life. I felt a deep sense of gratitude and peace. It was in that moment that I truly understood the power of waking up early. Waking up early might not be for everyone, but I encourage you to give it a try, even if just for a week. Start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier than usual and gradually increase it. You might be surprised at how positively it can impact your life. It's not just about having more hours in the day, but about using those hours to create a more mindful, intentional, and fulfilling start to your day. Habit 2: daily exercise. Daily exercise was the second habit that truly transformed my life. I have to admit, I wasn't always the most active person. I used to come up with every excuse in the book to skip workouts. I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll start tomorrow. Does that sound familiar? But one day, I decided enough was enough. I committed to moving my body every single day for a week, and the results were nothing short of extraordinary. I started small, dedicating just 20 minutes a day to exercise. I mixed it up with yoga, jogging, and strength training to keep things interesting and avoid boredom. First few days were challenging. My muscles ached and I felt utterly exhausted. However, I kept reminding myself of the reason behind this commitment: to improve both my physical and mental well-being. By the 4th day, something remarkable happened. I woke up feeling more energized, my mood had drastically improved, and I was more positive and less irritable. Those 20 minutes of exercise had become more than just a way to burn calories or build muscle. They were a precious time to focus on myself, release stress, and boost my endorphin. One morning, as I laced up my sneakers for a jog on a crisp, clear day, I experienced a sense of freedom and clarity that I hadn't felt in a long time. It was just me, the open road, and my thoughts. This connection to myself and the world around me was profoundly empowering. I also began to notice physical changes. Posture improved. I felt stronger, and my overall fitness level increased. But the most significant transformation was in my mindset. Exercise became my sanctuary, time to disconnect from the world and reconnect with myself. It evolved from a chore into a cherished form of self-care. Trying yoga for the first time was another highlight. I was initially skeptical, worried about my flexibility and whether it would be a genuine workout. But after a few sessions, I fell in love with it. Yoga taught me to be present, breathe deeply, and listen to my body. The experience went beyond physical benefits. It was truly transformative. Incorporating daily exercise into my routine made me realize that taking care of my body directly influences my mental health and overall happiness. It's not about being perfect or pushing yourself to the limit. It's about finding a form of movement you enjoy and making it a regular part of your life. So, if you're like I was and struggling to get started, my advice is to begin small. Find an activity you love, whether it's dancing, hiking, or even a brisk walk. Commit to just a few minutes a day and gradually build from there. Trust me, the benefits will be well worth the effort. This habit has the power to not only transform your body, but also shift your entire outlook on life. Habit 3. Journaling. Journaling was the third habit that truly transformed my life. I used to believe that journaling was only for those with endless free time or a natural inclination towards introspection. I was skeptical. Who has time to sit down and write about their day with everything that's going on? But just 1 week of consistent journaling completely shifted my perspective, making it a cornerstone of my personal growth journey. I started with a simple approach. Each night before bed, I dedicated just 10 minutes to journaling. I bought a plain notebook and a comfortable pen. No fancy apps, no pressure to make it look perfect. It was just me and my thoughts. On the first night, I stared at the blank page, unsure of what to write. I began with basic reflections: how my day went, what made me happy, and what I struggled with. As the days went by, my journaling evolved. I started exploring my goals, fears, dreams, and insecurities. Felt like having a heartfelt conversation with myself. That's when the magic happened. I began to uncover patterns in my thoughts and behavior. I realized some worries were beyond my control, while others were areas where I could take actionable steps. One night, I wrote about a particularly stressful day at work. By putting my thoughts on paper, I was able to process my emotions more effectively. I described what stressed me out, how it made me feel, and what I could do differently next time. This simple act of reflection helped me gain clarity and feel more in control of my emotion. Journaling also allowed me to track my progress. I recorded small victories and milestones, no matter how minor they seemed. Looking back at these entries filled me with a sense of accomplishment and motivated me to keep pushing forward. For instance, I documented my preparation and successful outcome for a nerve-wracking presentation. Seeing this progress in writing was incredibly encouraging. I also began a gratitude section in my journal. Each day, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. This practice shifted my focus from what was lacking to appreciating what I already had. It was a simple yet profound shift that brought more positivity into my life. One memorable entry was about a random act of kindness I experienced when a stranger helped me with my grocery bag. Writing about this kindness made me feel grateful and inspired me to pay it forward. Through journaling, I discovered much about myself, my desires, fears, strengths, and weaknesses. It became a form of therapy, a way to untangle the complex web of thoughts and emotions we all carry. It provided a safe space where I could be completely honest with myself without fear of judgment. If you've never tried journaling, I highly encourage you to start. Don't worry about writing perfectly or having profound thoughts. Just let your thoughts flow, whether it's a stream of consciousness, a recap of your day, or reflections on a specific event. Give yourself the freedom to express whatever you're feeling. You might be surprised at how much clarity and peace it can bring into your life. Remember, it's not about what you write. It's about the process of writing itself. Habit 4. Mindful eating. Next on the list is mindful eating. Practice that made a profound impact on my life. Like many, I used to eat on the go, barely noticing what or how much I was consuming. My meals were often rushed affairs, consumed while scrolling through my phone or working on my laptop. I didn't realize how much this habit was affecting my well-being until I decided to dedicate a week to mindful eating. Mindful eating is all about fully engaging with the experience of eating and drinking. It means savoring each bite, paying attention to the flavors, textures, and even the sounds of your food. So I made a commitment to eat each meal mindfully. I began by setting the scene, cleared my dining table, created a pleasant setting, and removed all distractions, no phone, TV, or laptop. At first, it felt a bit odd to sit quietly with my meal, but it quickly became a calming ritual. I started each meal with a few deep breaths to center myself and bring my focus to the present moment. One of the first things I noticed was how much more I enjoyed my food. By taking the time to truly taste and appreciate each bite, foods I had eaten countless times before revealed new, delightful flavors and textures. For instance, the crunch of fresh vegetables and the sweetness of ripe fruit were more pronounced. Felt like experiencing food in high definition. Another significant change was the level of satisfaction I felt after eating. By eating slowly and mindfully, I allowed my body to signal when it was full. This was a major shift for me, as I had previously eaten quickly and often ended up overeating. By listening to my hunger and fullness cues, I found that I naturally ate less and felt more content. One memorable experience was with a simple bowl of oatmeal. Normally, I would have rushed through it without a second thought, but this time, I took my time, savoring the creamy texture and the subtle sweetness of the honey I drizzled on top. It turned into a moment of gratitude and mindfulness, set a positive tone for the rest of my day. I also became more aware of how different foods made me feel. Heavily processed foods left me feeling sluggish and bloated, while fresh, whole foods made me feel energized and light. This awareness led me to make healthier choices naturally, without feeling deprived or restricted. Mindful eating also helped me recognize the emotional connections I had with food. I started to identify when I was eating out of boredom, stress, or emotional comfort rather than true hunger. This awareness was powerful. Instead of mindlessly snacking, I could address the underlying emotion. Maybe what I needed was a break, some relaxation, or a chat with a friend, rather than reaching for a bag of chips. One evening, I had a craving for something sweet after dinner. Instead of automatically reaching for dessert, I paused and asked myself if I was truly hungry or just seeking a reward after a long day. I realized I wasn't actually hungry and chose a warm cup of herbal tea instead. It was a small victory that demonstrated the power of mindful eating. Incorporating mindful eating into my life was transformative. It helped me develop a healthier relationship with food, improved my digestion, and enhanced my overall sense of well-being. It's a habit I've continued beyond that initial week, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're interested in trying mindful eating, start with just one meal a day. Sit down without distractions, take a few deep breaths, and savor each bite. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and how the food makes you feel. You might be amazed at how this simple practice can transform your entire eating experience. The wonderful way to reconnect with your body and truly appreciate the nourishment that food provides. Habit 5. Limiting screen time. Habit number 5 is limiting screen time. And let me tell you, this one was a real challenge for me, and I suspect it might be for many of you too. We live in a digital age where it's all too easy to lose ourselves in endless scrolling, binge-watching shows, or checking emails. I realized that all this screen time was negatively impacting my mental health, productivity, and even my sleep. So I decided to set some clear boundaries and see how it would affect my life. I started by imposing a daily limit of 1 hour for non-work-related screen time. This meant no more aimless scrolling through Instagram, no marathon YouTube sessions, and no late-night TV binges. Initially, it was tough. I was so used to filling every spare moment with screen time that breaking the habit felt like a major adjustment. But I knew I needed to make a change. One of the first things I noticed was how much more time I suddenly had. I hadn't realized just how much of my day was consumed by screens until I intentionally cut back. With those extra hours, I began rediscovering hobbies and interests that I had long neglected. I picked up a book I'd been meaning to read, started doodling and drawing again, and even experimented with new recipes in the kitchen. One evening, instead of settling in front of the TV after dinner, I chose to take a walk in the park. Fresh air, the soothing sounds of nature, and the simple act of moving my body were incredibly rejuvenating. It was a stark contrast to the usual screen-induced lethargy I had grown accustomed to. That walk became a cherished part of my routine, something I eagerly anticipated and thoroughly enjoyed. Another significant change I experienced was in my sleep quality. Previously, I'd take my phone to bed, scrolling through social media or watching videos until I felt sleepy. This habit often left me feeling wired and restless, which led to poor sleep. By cutting back on screen time, especially before bed, I found it much easier to unwind and fall asleep. I developed a new bedtime routine that didn't involve screens, reading a physical book, meditating, or simply reflecting on my day. This adjustment resulted in deeper, more restful sleep and a noticeable boost in my overall energy levels. I also noticed improvements in my mental health. Without the constant barrage of news updates, social media comparisons, and digital distractions, I felt less anxious and more present. I became more focused during conversations, more attentive to the people around me, and more engaged in my daily activities. It was as though a fog had lifted, allowing me to see and experience life more clearly. One particularly memorable day, I spent an entire afternoon at a local cafe with just a notebook and a pen. I jotted down my thoughts, planned some goals, and even did a bit of sketching. It was such a peaceful and productive time, free from digital interruptions. I felt a deeper connection to myself and my surroundings, something screens had never allowed. Of course, there were moments of temptation and slips along the way, but whenever I found myself reaching for my phone out of habit, I gently reminded myself of the benefits I was experiencing and redirected my focus to something more fulfilling. Limiting screen time isn't about completely eliminating technology from your life. It's about finding a healthier balance and being more intentional with your time. If you're feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, I encourage you to start by setting some screen time boundaries. Begin with reducing your screen time by an hour each day and gradually increase it. Use that extra time to reconnect with yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you. You might be amazed at how much richer and more fulfilling life can be when you step away from the screens and engage more with the real world. Habit 6. Practicing gratitude. The sixth and final habit that made a huge difference in my life is practicing gratitude. Something that's often mentioned in self-help advice, but I never fully understood its impact until I made it a daily practice. I began by setting aside a few minutes each morning to write down 3 things I was grateful for. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee or a kind gesture from a friend. At first, it felt a bit forced, but as the days went by, it became a meaningful ritual. I noticed a shift in my mindset. Instead of focusing on what I didn't have or what was going wrong, I started appreciating the positive aspects of my life. One morning, I wrote about the beautiful sunrise I saw on my way to work. It was a simple moment, but reflecting on it filled me with a sense of joy and contentment. I also began expressing gratitude to others. Whether it was sending a thank you note or telling someone how much I appreciated their support, these small acts of acknowledgement strengthened my relationships and created a positive ripple effect in my life. Another powerful aspect of practicing gratitude was its impact on my overall well-being. I found myself feeling more optimistic and less stressed. Gratitude helped me shift my focus from problems to solutions and from scarcity to abundance. One memorable experience was when I faced a challenging situation at work. Instead of dwelling on the difficulties, I focused on what I could learn from the experience and the support I had from my colleagues. This shift in perspective made the situation more manageable and less overwhelming. Practicing gratitude also improved my sleep quality. I found that writing down what I was grateful for before bed helped me end the day on a positive note and made it easier to fall asleep. If you're new to practicing gratitude, start by setting aside a few minutes each day to reflect on what you're thankful for. It doesn't have to be a long or elaborate process, just a simple acknowledgement of the positive aspects of your life. You might be surprised at how this small practice can bring about a significant shift in your overall outlook and happiness. All right, everyone, That concludes our exploration of the 6 transformative habits that made a remarkable difference in my life within just 1 week. It's been an amazing journey, not only implementing these habits but also sharing them with you. Each of these practices holds the potential to bring about significant positive changes. And if they could work for me, I truly believe they can work for anyone. If any of these habits have resonated with you, I encourage you to give them a try. Start with just one habit and see how it fits into your life. Adjust it to match your lifestyle and needs. Remember, the goal isn't to achieve perfection, but to make steady progress. It's about making small, manageable changes that, over time, lead to significant transformations. I'd love to hear about your experiences, so please leave a comment below, sharing which habit you're considering or any questions you might have about getting started. Your feedback and stories are what make this community so supportive and vibrant. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on our upcoming content. We have plenty more insights and tips on the way that you'll want to catch. Sharing this video with friends or family who could benefit from these habits might also make a meaningful difference in their lives. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, small changes can lead to big results. Let's continue to grow, evolve, and transform our daily routines into powerful opportunities for self-improvement. See you in the next video. Stay amazing, everyone.